thanks to the supporters of channel member PP0476. Oh, folks, as you'll already know from yesterday's episode, I have now received my big boy Premier League contract here at Burton, a 4-year deal on £35,500 a week, which works out at nearly £2 million a year. And you know what that means? It's house hunting time, which means let's have a look at the one moment. The how do you scroll on this thing? Cover that bit. The non-specific mortgage calculator. I can't scroll and I don't know why. But according to the non-specific mortgage calculator, we can borrow nearly £9 million. Let's kind of have a look to see what we can get in Burton-on-Trent for £9 million. And the answer seems to be several houses. In fact, some of these, Uttoxeter, Southampton, Norwich. Are they within 10 miles of Burton-on-Trent? I'm not sure I know where Burton-on-Trent is. But if we move past the sponsored ones, you can see there are a few houses in and around the local area, but nothing approaching the £9 million range. We'll just have to buy 2 or 3. Well, I mean, realistically, we have to buy the most expensive one, which appears to be this one in Tutbury, Burton-on-Trent. £3.45 million. It's a big boy. Goodness me, look at the size of this. It's across 4 different lots, apparently. There's your area. Do we get all that land? We could build a new ground here. Forget playing in the Pirelli. I'll live here and we'll build the new ground on all this land we've now got, and we don't have to be stuck with our ridiculously low capacity. Wowzers. Oh, look at all those chairs. This house is so fancy, they inexplicably have glasses on the table, even when nobody needs a drink. That, I know I've said for years that chairs is the sign of true wealth, but just having glasses out on the table, having the table set just in case you need to randomly have Christmas dinner, that's proper fancy, that is. Look, they've got all these chairs not pointing at a TV. There's not even a TV in that room. What is the point of these rooms with no television in them? I think they're model chickens. Either that, or there is a couple of cocks in their conservatory. Near yet more chairs, I would like to point out. There we have more chairs. Do they own a TV? I mean, is that a pervert's chair? Do you sit there and watch people seductively undressed? I think that's what's known in the trade as a pervert's chair, boys and girls. There's no TV anywhere in the house. We'll obviously have to rectify that. Plenty of places to put all of my horses, which is, I mean, I've been looking for somewhere to put my horses for quite a long time now. This seems to be the place. Do the sheep come with it? I love sheep. Oh, I'm staying at Burton forever. And there's, I guess that, so yeah, lot 1, we can build the new stadium, which is there, I think. Magic. Hello and welcome to Club 2, Part 24 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 Premier League games for you. We're away against Villa, we're at home against Everton, and as you can see, we are still in the mid-table of the Premier League with over a quarter of the season gone. Since you were last with me, we have picked up a couple more wins. I mean, we had a very rough run of games, by the way. We forget Brentford aside that you saw in the last episode. We had Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea and Newcastle in 4 out of 5 games, and we've still survived without going into the relegation zone. We also had a month off of playing football. I don't really know why, but we played Arsenal on the 16th of September and then didn't play Chelsea in our next Premier League game until the 13th of October. So we put a couple of friendlies in, which I definitely think helped. So we did it again in this long international break, because we have hardly anybody who goes away for international football. I know people sometimes whinge about me doing this kind of stuff, but I think we have a legitimate case for it. Everyone else, I mean, the majority of other teams in the Premier League, their players go off and get international minutes. Whereas our boys, if we didn't do these friendlies, would just be sat around doing nothing for a month. So I think with good reason, we've been fitting in these fitness friendlies, but we have been able to pick up another league win against Bournemouth, and we're still in the Carabao Cup. We've made it through to the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup, which is quite the showing. This is what the Premier League table looks like. So 12 games gone. We've got 13 points on the board. We are ahead of the Kev ratio, which is very, very important. If you are new, when you think you're going to get relegated, you look to meet the Kev ratio. The Kev ratio is basically a point for every game that you've got played. If you get a point for every game that you play, you stand a very good chance of avoiding relegation, as you can see at the moment. 12 points would have you 13th, 14th in the league, which is obviously not a relegation spot. In other news, before we get into the matches, our stadium improvements are complete. Remember, we had a 7,000 capacity stadium that had terracing on 3 sides. So the terraces were closed. So we managed to fit 6,000 people in the one stand while the other 3 were being fixed. And then we didn't quite know what the capacity was going to be afterwards. Well, the work is now done. And now that all 4 stands are open again, our capacity has gone down to 5. It's a 5,000 all-seater now, which not only is 5,000 less than we were fitting in the ground when 3 sides of it were closed. I'm so glad we finished the improvements. So not only has it shrunk compared to that, but 5,000 is also fewer than the number of season tickets we've sold. There are 5,780 season tickets sold, assuming, say, 10% of the capacity being set aside for away fans. There's over 1,000 people who've got a season ticket who can't get into the matches. This, boys and girls, is a pickle we should have played this season in Derby. But you know me, I hate to draw attention to the areas where Football Manager is a buggy mess. So we'll move on from that screen really quickly and get focused on playing a football match. The first one is against Aston Villa. This is an Aston Villa side who are down in the relegation zone. So although we don't really expect to get anything out of any of our away games this season, if we were going to get something out of an away game, away against a struggling Villa side might be one of those games. And this is the team we are going to send there to try and pick up some points. It's Bender in goal, a back four of Galvez, Kitching, Jackson and Popov, Powell and Loser in midfield, Vidovic, Devine, O'Donoghue, then behind Leeburn up front. Sousa is suspended, as is Alonso, which is why neither of those two are in the team currently, and O'Donoghue has now signed another new contract. Every time we give him a new contract, he always insists on a minimum fee release clause, but we've increased it again. It was 21 million looking ahead to the January window. We've managed to get it as high as 36.5 million. We've had to give him another £10,000 a week to do it, but with Saudi Arabia lurking, we need to get that boy tied down and keep him tied down for as long as we possibly can. So let's get this team submitted and fingers crossed pick up an away win. An away win would be very welcome at this moment in time. We haven't played a game in the new ground since it was improved. Part of me is worrying that when we do play the home game in the second half of the episode, it's going to glitch out and break because it's going to try and fit more people in the ground than it's supposed to be able to fit. I'm assuming it checks that kind of thing. I mean, it might be that it just completely disregards the number of season ticket holders, and that's just a figure that he's picked at the start of the season. You get the money at the start of the season and it's never looked at and referenced again. It could be that. But if it is looking at the season ticket holders before every match attendance, before it decides how many people are going to get in, it could break the game. I suspect it's the first one, though, so I think we're going to be okay. If not, I don't really have a solution. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Like I say, I think we're probably going to be fine. Villa have started brightly, though, here, as I guess they would expect to. They've had a very rough start to the season and are probably looking at a home game against the likes of us as a good opportunity for them to get back to winning ways. So they are going to be looking to get a result out of today's match. I'm not quite sure how Villa have gotten so poor over the course of the save, because obviously the majority of that is the Villa side that's doing so well in real life at the moment. And maybe that is part of the problem. I mean, it's a lot of it is the current Villa side, and we are so far in the future that it looks like they haven't really built on where they've got to in real life. If anything, they've sold a few players and not really replaced them, or a few players have aged out of the team, and it's just gradually deteriorating. It looks like it's suffering from a lack of investment, which is a weird thing that I am noticing with some teams, some AI teams this year. They're not really replenishing and building on what they've got. This is a lovely counter-attack from us, though. Vidovic gets in and unfortunately not able to keep his shot down. I was saying in yesterday's episode that I was a little bit worried about Vidovic. He's had a couple of decent matches since then, scored a couple of goals. So fingers crossed. It took him a little bit of a while to settle, but I think he is now a lot more comfortable as a Premier League player. Obviously, it would have been nice for him to demonstrate that for us all there. Was not to be. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we'd be happy with a point away against Villa. I think for a team like Burton, there will never come a time where it's not a good point coming to Villa and getting a draw. But we'd very much like to nick the win because, you know, they're in rough form and we want to get ourselves safe in the Premier League ASAP. We've got a lot of players, certainly a lot of the players who signed new contracts or signed for us in the summer. A lot of our players have got relegation release clauses because it was the only way to keep their wage demands anywhere near a reasonable level. So if we were to get relegated, we might have a problem, as in a big player exodus problem. So we'd quite like to get our survival secured pronto, because then we can start properly planning for next year. Thankfully, that goal has been disallowed. I mean, it looked offside all day long. Let's have a look at it on the replay. Yeah, I mean, he is miles off. I mean, to give you some context as well, that's an Ollie Watkins who, at this stage of FM23, I'd taken to play for me in Switzerland for Servette at this kind of age. So the fact that he's still playing for Villa is further demonstration that they are not the Villa that they perhaps could have been. We are bringing on the little Bocco, who has been looking great in his substitute appearances. I really am starting to enjoy that boy. It's a little bit of a shame that he plays in the same position as O'Donoghue, who obviously is a big key player for us. Powell's picked up a knock here, just as we've made changes in central midfield. We're going to have to drop Alfie Devine back, which is not ideal, but Patrick Roberts can go in there. I mean, we did play Devine, buy Devine to play there originally, and he's never really got anywhere near that kind of position. But we'll bring him on for the final 10 minutes of this match. And there's still time. We're going to offer a little bit of encouragement. There is still a chance that we can find a way to make a breakthrough. We have been pretty harmless going forward today, but then so with Villa. So I guess a draw would be the fairest result, but we'd very much like to nick it late on in the match, although Villa looking to do exactly the same thing, trying to get a counter-attack of their own going here, but they've just completely stalled it and are now knocking it around their defenders. But they have played through our midfield relatively comfortably there, but Alfie Devine demonstrating that he was always a defensive midfielder all along. Kitching has been ruined there, though. Turned inside out, and Bender should have done better. I don't think there's an offside here, unless there's another player who's touched that on the way through. I think that is a late winner for Villa, and it all goes to Liam Kitching here, I think. We need a proper centre-back partner for Jackson, and this really demonstrates it, because this has cost us a point here. That's Kitching, and yeah, he's been turned inside out, he's fouled the guy, and then he's got the touch on it that takes it past Bender as well. So 3 times over, that goal is Liam Kitching's fault. We need to be handed some January money fairly soon, which hopefully we will, because money is projected to increase as the season goes on. So hopefully we'll get something to spend in January, and we need to spend it on a centre-back to partner Jackson, or at least get one of our boys from last year back in on loan again. No changes for the Everton game then. I think I've sat here looking at this screen for an hour because next door's dog was barking. So maybe I did change. I don't think there's any changes. There's no way of knowing. But let's go beat Everton. This is, of course, our first game in the new and improved Pirelli, and it looks like it's happening. And I mean, it's so small. It's got to be the smallest stadium ever in the it is the smallest stadium ever in the Premier League. A 5,000 capacity all-seater. I don't know how we're getting away with it. I mean, it's the minimum requirements to play in the Premier League is you need 5,000. You need a 5,000 capacity and 5,000 seats, because it has to be all seater in the Premier League. We have got undersoil heating now as well, so at least the grass will stay warm. That's nice. But what's the point when there's almost nobody here to watch it? I wonder what the extra season ticket holders did outside. And I mean, there are Everton fans here, so the Everton fans have got an entire end. Oh, Liban's intercepted there. It falls to Vidovic, and we've absolutely robbed one. Only a minute on the clock. It's such careless passing from the Everton defender, and the crowd have gone absolutely bananas. As you can imagine, that is the first Premier League goal at a full Pirelli. I assume it's sold out. I mean, how could any match not be sold out when we've got all these season tickets? It's selfless from Leeburn, who does well to intercept, but because he's facing the wrong way, just lays it off to Vidovic, who slots it past Pickford in goal for Everton, and we're 1-0 up, and fingers crossed can go on and pick up a much-needed win. Everton, again, are a team who, there's a lot of players in this Everton team who I'm recognising from being actual Everton players. It is very, very strange, the lack of significant amounts of transfer that the AI do. Is that entire back four, Everton's current back four and goalkeeper? I didn't see he was playing right back for them. They've got different attackers, I guess. There's no sign of Calvert-Lewin or Tuvafella, the other big guy. I know his name. Honest, promise I know his name. He's not there. McNeil, of course, there in real life. I mean, we're 7-8 years in the future. This is madness. Absolute. Oh, my word. That's madness. Referee, I mean, I don't really know what you're looking at here because it's harsh to rule that out for offside. It was a shot from range. I mean, there might have been someone offside as the shot came in because it was scored as it came back off the post. It has been awarded. Only 3 minutes gone. there's still 1,000 people queuing up outside the ground who've missed both goals. Oh, Bender once again. He's not very. I mean, we need a goalkeeper, we need a centre back, and we need a backup right back. There is much to do, but ultimately the goal this season is just to survive, and we are still on the Kev ratio as things stand. If we can pick up a win today, we end the episode ahead of the Kev ratio still, which would be jolly nice. And we'll just, like I say, hope we get given a little bit of money for Spensies in January. We can go and fill some of these gaps. At the very least, we might be able to loan somebody in, although we did try with the loans on deadline day back in the summer, and there was nothing doing. Oh, that's so poor again. Well, okay, the goal's awarded. We find out immediately. that was a strange piece of VAR that just popped up. But this is just, again, we've just given the ball away. It's so sloppy. Pal to loser, and loser just gives it to Abada. One of my favourite signings in this year's FM, Leo Abada. He is awesome, and he's made us pay there. And it is Everton on the attack again. And oh dear, this looks like this might be going wrong. It's now 3-1 to Everton. We started so brightly, but it's all gone a little bit wrong. I guess we're going to go attacking. We're going to demand more. And we're going to hope that we can conjure something up from somewhere. I mean, Everton are above us in the league. They're a better team than us, but it's a home match against a team who are kind of a bottom half-ish team. We've got to really be able to pick up some kind of result. I thought that was going wide, but Vidovic has got his second of the game. I told you, he was starting to turn into a Premier League player. Obviously, the first one was an absolute gift from Leeburn, but this one, he's done really well with. I think it's Leeburn with the assist again, is it? It is Leeburn who plays it back to him again. Does he owe him money or something? I mean, he's just decided to set everything up on a plate for Vidovic today, but it's working out nicely for us. Powell now with the free kick, looking for Alfie Devine at the far post. I don't know why it's not Leeburn who's there. O'Donoghue playing it back in this time. He is looking for Leeburn, and his header, he can't keep it down, but an equaliser now would be very nice indeed. We're offering some encouragement to the boys. We are staying on attacking for now. I mean, if we can get it to 3-3 at half time, it's anybody's game in the second half. I mean, if we had all of the defensive players that I would like to bring in, I think we'd probably be ahead in this game. Once again, our attack, they're doing their job. Going forward, we have no problems. The problems all stem from the goalkeeper and the makeshift defence. For as long as Liam Kitching is starting for us, we know for sure that the defence isn't as good as the one we had last year, because he was second half of last season when we got the second lad in on loan from Manchester United. Even Jackson wasn't starting regularly, but Kitching was our fourth choice centre-back for the second half of last season, and Jackson spent most of that time on the bench. So, yeah, it is a big downgrade from last year, and it shows time and time again. But there's Devine playing it across to Leeburn, and that's an incredible save from Pickford. And Lee Burn's still not able to get the goal that he deserves. So he's played very, very well today. He does deserve a goal. And maybe he'll get one here. The header is cleared off the line by the Everton defender. It comes back to Powell and now Popov. And the highlight just kind of ends. But Lee Burn has been completely unplayable today. This is what I was talking about either earlier in this episode or yesterday's episode. The big long gap for the barking dog. I've lost all track of time, but Lee Burn looks better in the Premier League than he did in the Championship. He just seems to suit this league better. Defenders not used to playing against that kind of striker at this level, I don't think. Right, we're going to drop Devine back into the midfield, and we are going to bring on No, we're not going to bring on Bocco to play in that attacking midfield hole. Vidovic has done his job. Stevanovic can come on for him, and O'Donoghue can come off for Clayton. So we have a completely new look attacking midfield three. We're going to go, in fact, we'll leave it as attacking for now. With 10 minutes to go, we'll go very attacking to try and get the goalkeeper forward. There you go. Time to go very attacking and also make our final couple of changes. Lee Burn has shattered. He's definitely done his bit. Stewart is going to come on. We've still got Patrick Roberts on the bench as well and two very tired midfielders, but there's not really anyone who can drop back. I mean, unless we can't really. It doesn't really work. We don't want to get embarrassed. Let's just bring Lemkin on. I mean, we could have brought Roberts on for one of those two and just abandoned having a midfield entirely, but I suspect things like that don't necessarily end well. We've just got to hope we can find something from maybe a late set piece. I feel hard done by today, and it's actually Everton who've got the late set piece. Comes back off the post. Bender didn't even move, and now Everton again, and this time we managed to get the block in, but I think that was your injury time highlight. It was, and our first game in the new and improved Pirelli does end in defeat. I was going to check. Yeah, the attendance was just the flat 5,000. Absolutely bonkers. Oh, in fact, we've played in it multiple times. Forget everything I was saying earlier about it maybe not working. Oh, you can tell I'm on autopilot on the in-betweeny bits, can't you? I was doing my desk walking. Not paying attention to that. But at least I got a 30-minute walk in. And that's the important thing. We've got a problem, haven't we? Hopefully a problem I can figure out how to solve, but we haven't won. We've won one Premier League game in our last, oh my word, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, we've won 1 in 10. Brr. We need January, but first we need January money. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.